Howdy Google Ads fans and welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to quickly go through the automated bidding strategy called Maximize Clicks. And if you remember, this is the default bidding strategy that Google Ads sets when you create a new campaign. And it's a terrible, terrible bidding strategy for almost every scenario. But let's just run through it in detail real quickly here. The objective of Maximize Clicks as a bidding strategy is to get as much traffic to your site as possible. If you're looking to get as much data on site behavior as possible and just get visitors in your door without worrying as much about specific cost objectives, this can be helpful in some cases. So if it's the very beginning of a campaign and your boss or your client really wants a lot of data, doesn't really care about cost per click, they just want to see certain behavioral objectives. Let's say that there's a really important, some investor wants to know how men perform on a site differently than women, let's say, and you've got to really quickly get that data. And you don't want to err on the side of bidding too low and getting too few clicks. So, some strange use cases, this could be helpful. How does it actually work? It's pretty straightforward. Google will try to get you as many clicks as possible by choosing the right bids across all the keywords that are using this strategy. So across all the keywords in this campaign, you can set a maximum CPC bid limit as well. So you could temper Google's autonomy by choosing a maximum CPC, but that sort of defeats the whole purpose of Maximize Clicks to begin with. Spend is capped at the campaign daily budget. So remember that. What Google's doing at the keyword level and how much my clicks are going to cost are still ultimately governed by how much I'm telling Google I'm willing to spend. So if I'm willing to spend $100 over the course of a day, remember what we talked about when we talked about daily budgets, that Google could spend up to $200, but Google will not exceed that even if I'm using Maximize Clicks or any other autonomous bidding strategy. So just keep that in mind, that your daily budget always governs anything else that's taking place beneath it. Using portfolio bid strategies allows you to apply this automation to just a set of keywords in the campaign using a different bid strategy. But I also want to point out that this is a setting that Google is probably going to remove. And they have been removing it to an extent. Like it used to be that I could just select 5 keywords in a campaign or an ad group to use Maximize Clicks while the other ones will use manual CPC. So it's really also so bad for organization when you want to really analyze your data. Everything should be kept separate anyway. I never recommend, one of my strongest recommendations is when you're building out your account, all campaigns should have separate bidding strategies. And that's going to be how Google Ads is going to be set up to work anyway. So don't worry about that. Overall, this strategy gives Google the most control over bidding and costs of your clicks. Scenario where this might be something of use, if you want to think about it. Say you sell acoustic guitars and you don't have data, and if you get data, then you'll be able to set good manual CPC bids later. You have this new instrument in the market, hollow body jazz guitars. I play guitar myself, so it's a product category dear to my heart. It's a low volume keyword in your targeted locations, and you want as much traffic as possible for this keyword. That's the goal. You just need data. You need to know the dynamics of the auction for this keyword, and you need to know it now for whatever reason. Feedback, product improvement, website improvements, real data aggregation, that's some of the benefits of getting data. So you might apply Maximize Clicks to just these keywords. So you might have a campaign with just keywords for this hollow body jazz guitar rather. That would be the better way to set it up. You would apply a Maximize Clicks bidding strategy to that campaign, and you will definitely overspend than on what you would have had to spend, but you'll get more clicks faster. So if you're not necessarily in a budget optimization zone and you're okay with considering this, some research and development budget, let's say, R&D, then it might be something worthwhile if you want to jump the gun and get a lot of data quickly. So there is a potential use case, but of course, it certainly wouldn't be a long-term play because everything should be controlled for the sake of profit. I'm not saying it's impossible. Like you might do Maximize Clicks in a campaign and it winds up being very profitable. It winds up even being more profitable than target CPA or manual CPC bidding. I'm not saying it's impossible. Google is so vast. There's so much going on behind the scenes. There's so much technology. There's so many variability with human behavior. There's so much variability with the clicks and the competition and the search terms and the match types and the geographical settings, your ad copy, your quality score. You never know, right? And Google's always tweaking how these algorithms work. You never know. You might find a campaign that's using Maximize Clicks and it's killing it and it's doing really well. And I don't feel that I would be stood corrected. I don't think that would contradict what I'm saying. I'm saying that could happen, but that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that you as a practitioner, you as someone who's responsible for optimizing these campaigns as best as possible, you're ultimately responsible for making the best strategic decisions. And 9 times out of 10, that will not be letting Google control how much you spend on a click. It's your money, you earned hard for it. You should say, and you should have a much more sophisticated setup in your campaigns where you're bidding appropriately across all your keywords. So in the next lecture, we'll talk about a semi-autonomous bidding strategy called enhanced CPC bidding. And I look forward to seeing you guys very soon in a couple seconds on the other side.